happen to have friends in higher places when it comes to entities controlling the time-space continuum. So just stick to your Uncle Bradley, and everything will be just fine.
Uncle Brad.
Hmm.
Do you think you could ask your friends about what those things are and how we stop them? And by friends, I mean books.
Hello, and welcome to the Stream of Chaos. I am Dave, and I'll be the Keeper of Arcane Lore for this session of Call of Cthulhu. Today, we are returning to the 19th hole, which is the fifth and final scenario in our Mansions of Madness Liveplay. If you'd like to get your own copy of the tome, you can head on over to chaosium.com, but that isn't the only option. Actually, early this morning, about 60 minutes ago, we released the full Mansions of Madness bundle on Roll20. So if you go there, and I'll whack a link in the chat, and we'll have it in the description of everything else, you can get all the scenarios we played through so far on the stream, fully integrated into the virtual tabletop. So yeah, check that out. All of our live plays are on the Chaosium YouTube, and if you enjoy the content, be sure to leave us a comment and consider subscribing to see what comes next. Before we begin, I'd also like to thank Roll20, Sirenscape, and Web Captioner for being great tools which help us to run Call of Cthulhu. Links to these websites are in the description. Now, as we jump into this week's session, the three of you have previously travelled to Scotland to do a little missing person searching, maybe ghost hunting. It's looking more like the latter, in integrating the former. That made sense. So you've traveled out to Scotland in search of the missing Arthur Macmillan. His last known whereabouts were on his golf course, where he'd gone to do a tour of the facilities, and you've decided to do a little digging yourself. You spoke to the staff, you had a chat with Cameron Nairn, who was the foreman for the project, and then you made your way down to the golf course, sort of early in the morning. Nice crisp day. You let yourselves in legitimately, you have keys this time, and began to search through the golf club. Dr. Bradley Fogarty, who was a bit knackered from the previous night's investigations of going through notebooks and ledgers, had a little snozzle in a stool just inside the Great Hall, while Monkey headed up to the second story and began to have a look around. And when they went into the library, they found that gravity had sort of shifted and they almost tumbled down, but were able to hold on for dear life. Isabella, deciding to seize the initiative and have a look for golf clubs so they could play in a hole or two, went into the golf shop, and just as they were reaching towards a set of clubs, something strange happened. Behind her, in one of the corners of the room, the edge, the seam, in reality, parted somewhat, and from inside there was a sort of a drifting mist, and emerging came this fractal, edged sort of monster, dog, hound thing that treaded forward and then made a leap towards her. And that's where we're going to immediately pick back up. Can I get all three of you to make spot hidden rolls? And then we'll go through each investigator, and this is, if you succeed, you've noticed what's happening and describe yourselves as such. If you haven't, you're going to continue on your merry way, for the moment at least. So Monkey, success. Isabel, that's sleight of hand, I think.
Oh dear me. I'll take that result for spot hidden. That is a fail.
Sure. Bradley?
Should I have a listen because I'm snoozing with my eyes closed?
That's a great idea. Great idea. Actually, they should have probably all been listened.
Oh, well, too late now.
Okay, so Art, why don't you go ahead and introduce Monkey to us on the second story?
Hi. My name is Art. I play Monkey, who is small, slight, probably at this point slippery, and motley clothing. Think urchin from, ye olde London town, except Boston, via Boston, and a lot of costume closets on the way.
Yep.
Monkey is not an actual monkey. Just to get that out of the way for any new viewers, Monkey is a person.
Worth flagging.
it just happens to be a ubiquitous nickname that literally everyone uses for them. Monkey, look, is a little bit concerned about the fact that the wall became a floor briefly, and there was a hole in that floor that was a door but then became a hole, because that's what happens when you turn a door into it. Anyway, good morning.
It's a lot less functional when it's on the bottom. So you almost went tumbling through it, and now that you hear from the lower level a cry of alarm from Isabella and then the stumbling of Bradley getting to his feet, what is your instinct? What do you immediately attempt to do?
I would like to posit an alternative to hearing, given that I did give you a spot.
Yes, and
is
that's
there
fair.
any sort of chance that, like, because whereas, like, seeing something in the ballroom, like a weird whoopee thing, which maybe Monkey recognizes from being zipped through fucking time a bunch, and is like, oh no, gotta go check on the others, there is time bandits afoot.
No, that's perfect. So you recognize the signs of mythos nonsense and go hurtling back to rejoin the party and deal with whatever is happening downstairs.
If there is a banister, I will slide down the banister.
Awesome. All right. You leap back to the stairs and begin to tumble down them more elegantly than I just described. Jackson and Bradley.
It me. Hey, I'm Jackson. I'm playing Dr. Bradley Fogarty, psychologist to the stars, who is right now snoozing on a chair until I make my listen roll, I presume, and then I'm not so snoozy. So I'm hearing crashing and tumbling from upstairs. Is that right?
Yep.
And I'm hearing all sorts of reality-tearing nonsense from inside the golf shop.
It's unerring because at first it's silent. There's sort of a hiss, like something slicing through air, and then it's Isabella's cry of alarm that will get you back onto your feet and moving. You were in that sort of when you've pulled an all-nighter, you know, like the early stages, like, wow, I'm all right, I can push through this whole thing. And then at about 11, it hits you like a train. You were completely out of it and only just pulling yourself back together, a little groggy. What were you doing last night that was so important?
I was sifting through Mr. McMillan's diaries and plans for the renovation. He didn't keep himself very well organized, so I thought, you know, maybe there's a chance that we can find exactly what he was renovating out here in the golf course and perhaps what he was doing when he went missing. But no. Spent a good chunk of it reorganizing
the work. Yeah.
Yeah, and now we'll see if that is going to kill me. Apparently homework can kill you.
All right, the adrenaline pumps through you and you're able to leap to your feet as we see our final investigator, Isabella. James?
Yes, that is me. Hello, I am James. I am playing Isabella, and I am very alarmed to see a giant bleeding great dog leaping out at me, desperate to presumably tear me limb from limb. I don't actually really know how these dogs work, so to speak. But I'm going to stagger backwards in alarm as I fumble desperately for a wooden golf club next to me.
Oh, yeah, great. So this golf shop, I mean, the whole place is still under construction. So there's a, like, probably not shrink wrapped, but like plastic wrapped set of clubs nearby that you're able to begin to stumble out. Perfect. All right, so I'm going to throw us to the roll 20 just to get some context. So this is our first floor. With Jackson, or Dr. Bradley Fogarty, in the Great Hall, Isabella in the golf shop, and something emerging from the walls behind them. On the second floor, Monkey, who's had a quick look in the ballroom and then moving towards the library. Gravity swung down. They grabbed the doorway, pulled themselves back through, but now have decided to run backwards and down the stairs. Emerging from the wall behind you, Isabella, is this twisted sort of broken fractal of space that has multiple legs that break down to the floor, but as you look at it, it's sort of almost one-dimensional, or possibly on another dimension that you can't quite perceive. It moves jaggedly low on the floor and heaving towards you. I need a sanity roll from you, but because you failed your spot hidden roll, it is going to get a surprise, and it is going to make an attack against you before you can act. So, all right. That's a decent hoof. These things are lethal. Can you please roll a d20 for me?
Oh my
You
god.
just saved her.
Yeah.
Not again.
By messing
We just
with time.
started.
Okay.
That's very true. Hey, wizard friend. You ready to go mad?
That's a big hit.
That is.
I presume that's indefinite.
Wait,
Oh, it
What?
could not be.
that's
all right.
that's straight up sanity. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. James, roll a d10. Roll 2d10 for me, because I think the indefinite goes right past the intelligence check. Is that right?
I believe so. Yes. So
Well,
my
heck.
insanity is number 6 for 6 rounds.
Oh man, this just kicked off in a violent and terrible way. Give me one moment.
I'm heartbroken.
Yeah,
I'm not.
I'm terribly excited. All right.
So we're gonna have fun today.
We're
We're gonna have a good
We
time.
might. We're just
Maybe
gonna have
go
fun
a few
at
rounds.
James' expense. That's the difference.
Oh, that's all right.
At least it's not red mist. I'm pretty sure red mist is like 8 or 10 or something.
Oh no.
I was gonna say four
Okay.
or 3.
This is how this is gonna go.
One of the numbers.
Bradley.
Yeah.
You wake up. Actually, Monkey, you're coming sprinting down the stairs, and Bradley, you begin to wake back up. As you do, you hear a thump from the other room as Isabella, you have fainted in response, hitting the ground, and the thing is moving forward and over you. We won't see what's in there just yet. Monkey, you have the highest dexterity. What are you doing?
I'm. So I'm down the stairs. Do I? or at
You're
least I
sprinting
assume
down
I'm
the stairs as we go, yeah.
Right. Do I hear where this is? Do I know where my companions are? Do I hear
Yes.
where it's coming from?
You know where they were when you left them, and basically coming down the stairs, you will emerge straight back into that entrance and foyer, and you'll be able to look across and into the golf shop. So if you just move at pace, I just want to know if you're preparing anything else or intending to do something like, leap
Oh
out
yeah,
a
I'm
window or
gonna
anything.
find something moderately hefty looking. I'm assuming
Sure.
there's building supplies around. Is there like a hammer or drill or something that's just nice and hefty?
Yes, yeah, there's a hammer leaning, up against
Great,
the wall, abandoned
I'm
in mid.
Sprint downstairs, pick it up, and then just skid to a hole and ditch it into the room to try and get whatever this thing's attention is, and be like, okay, mealtime's over here.
Okay, all right, hell yeah. So you come sprinting down the stairs, sliding the banister, and landing with a tumble in the entrance. To either side, there's those stained glass windows covered in cloth and just a little bit of light seeping through. As you peer across the hallway, both doors are partially closed, but you can see Isabella collapsed on the ground, and something is moving over her. As it's more opens, this long blue tongue drips forth and then rears backwards as if to puncture a hole in her. You go to beam the hammer, but first I need you to make a sanity roll.
Can I see it fully? It is dark.
Sanity roll.
Yeah, all right.
Oh dear.
I don't have a lot of sanity, so
Yeah.
let's see how this goes.
This is
with a
multi-
D20, that's
it's
big.
It's a big hit.
Eat it!
Okay,
Monkey's
that's good.
been through time before!
Roll a d3 for me, and Monkey, as you see this thing, it looks over Isabella and towards you. You never saw anything while you were moving between realities and between time, but you felt a presence, something observing you and letting out a sort of a howl to begin a hunt. You've actually encountered one of these things before somehow or another. And it's got your scent as well. 3's a big hit, but I think you're okay. Do you want to go ahead and give me a throw roll for your action?
Sure. Oh, where's my throw? Why have I lost throw? Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's very good. Roll a do a d6, I think, and your damage bonus if you'd like.
So, 0.
Still take it.
4.
Okay. You whip it across and it slides through the air. It should be a direct impact because it goes straight towards where the creature is. But as it pivots to look at you, it impacts where you believe it to be and then emerges directly out the other side as if it was a slip of paper facing inwards and barely perceivable. The creature doesn't even seem to notice it coming towards it. And as it looks up towards you, there's no eyes or anything, but the tongue lashes, and then it looks back to Isabella. Bradley, you're going to be next. What do you do?
Do I have to be?
Yeah, unfortunately.
I just want to go home. I haven't seen anything yet. I'm just hearing all sorts of nasty sounds.
Yeah.
There's no emergency exits. What's back here at the back? Just out of curiosity. Is that a door at the back of the Great Hall? Just asking for a friend.
Yeah, that is another exit. You actually would have seen it from the outside when you came in, so you know it's up there.
Well, that's good to know. What did Monkey just hit it with again?
Well, threw a hammer at it with minimal effect. And as Monkey throws it, they let out an exclamation of drat. That didn't seem to do much. Like you're communicating.
Well,
Right.
Nuts.
Here's the thing. I don't know if this is metagaming, but I don't want to see this thing. But I think Bradley knows you don't look at stuff if you're not ready to handle it.
Mm-hmm.
Is that fair to say?
It is. Look, there is... the mythos pervades every sense. You can avoid it for a time, and it may, reduce the impact, but eventually something will trigger it, and you will make that sanity roll. But I agree. You are right. You know you're in a shaky state. You can try and steel yourself and avoid it for now.
I want to duck in here and get around this corner without seeing the thing, so I can see Monkey and gesture them over and say, "There's an exit down this way, down this way, down this way."
Yeah, that's fine. Cousin Isabella is not conscious. Lack thereof.
Oh, heck. I didn't think of that. I don't like my odds of...
Seems to be unconscious for an indeterminate amount of time, but I would gauge the next, half a minute.
I don't like my odds of, sticking my head in there and grabbing Isabella without seeing the thing.
I don't like your odds
that seems unlikely.
You could look. I can see it. As she's fallen, a arm has tumbled out the doorway, and is almost sort of reaching across the floor.
Well, if you're gonna give me an arm,
I'm not gonna. I will loan you an arm at best, because I want it back. I could see a stealth roll, or a strength or something to attempt to grab this without seeing it. If you take an action here, though, you are close enough and interacting in the space. It'll probably be you'll get a bonus dice on the sanity roll if you succeed.
Fantastic. I'll take it.
All right. What do you want to go for?
Strength or stealth?
Yeah.
They're exactly the same.
Ooh. I think.
We'll go
in
stealth.
that case, let's call it a combined roll.
That doesn't help me, does it?
No, it doesn't. It just means you
it doesn't.
roll the lowest, which is the same.
All right. I'll have a stealth because I got a chance to improve that.
That's good. How's that? Ooh. That's pretty good.
That's how it's done.
Wow.
Precision engineering.
No flair, just exactly what's needed.
Bradley, you blink the sleep out of your eyes and the adrenaline's kind of coursing through you for the moment. You've got some speed and you swing around the corner and hold yourself against the rough frames where they still have, the plaster sheeting has yet to go up. You're leaning against timber. Isabella's hand has dropped to the ground below it, and inside you can hear this very faint, high-pitched hissing sound. You grab the hand, not looking backwards, and give it a wrench, but there's something resisting it on the other side. Can you give me a sanity roll, but take a bonus dice for it? And as this happens, Isabella, can you please roll... Actually, I need to roll first, but you will roll 3d6 shortly. Unless one fails.
Oh, no.
Yeah, oh no, indeed.
Oh, 29. Success.
Ooh, that's good. Okay, it's just 1d3.
1d3? I didn't sign up for 1d3. Duh.
Duh. Okay. All right.
Duh.
Take 2 sanity loss. And Isabella, can you please roll 3d6 for me?
Oh,
Asking for a friend. Indefinite insanity is 1/5 rounded down or up?
Rounded up.
Ooh,
Rounded
10.
up. Oh, that's good.
10. Whoomsh. All right. So you grab the hand and wrench it forward. Isabella comes tumbling out of the room, dragged across the floorway, and the creature doesn't appear to follow it through. Not yet. As you pull her forth, Isabella, reduce your power by 10 points. And Monkey, you watch this happen. As the tongue reared backwards, it speared through Isabella's chest, but didn't seem to do any physical damage. Her form's still together, but in a large hole, sort of right here in the center where it punctured, Isabella's clothes have changed. And there's a pool of dried blood across it. With a start, you realize the shirt that it has changed into was the same one she was wearing when she died. Shot in the House of Memphis. And it appears this creature is beginning to revert time to its proper path. There's a hissing sound, and across the other side in the golf shop, a seam breaks open beneath one of the tables. Monkey, can you give me a spot hidden roll, please? You could push it. Otherwise, it's too fine to see. There's a little glimmer of something on the other side, but perceiving other realities is not always a positive. It'll be a sanity penalty if you fail.
Penalty?
As in just straight out no rolling, or roll?
No, there'll be a roll. There'll be a roll, but that's the risk.
How bad are we talking?
Not extreme, but you've messed with this stuff previously. Roll success, no loss. Failure, probably like a D3.
I got 3 sanity to spare.
That's right. All right, push that.
Do that.
Oh, you hero. Okay, all right. Behind it, the scene
Very
begins
nice.
to peel down the corner of the golf shop. And underneath the table, you see a little hiss of what might be mist or just tiny particles of something from the other side spilling out. And for a moment, you catch a glimpse through. What you're seeing, and it's like peering through the lock hole in a door, you're looking at a dark room with a figure sleeping under the covers of a bed, and a small candle is lit on the bedside table just next to them. Only with an extreme do you note the sleeping figure appears to be Isabella. You can recognize the hair sprawled across the pillow. And with that, the creature, seeing Isabella tugged out of the way, begins to retreat, heading towards that seam.
Scared it off?
We go back to the top of the round, and Monkey, you will act first. What do you want to do?
I mean, my instinct is to leap into that hole.
yeah.
Yes.
Please don't.
But also... No, fuck it. Monkey's curious. That's their thing. That's what they do. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna jump in through the hole and be like, what the fuck's on the other side? It's Isabella, gotta protect.
Okay, give me a... I've got 2 rolls. First, give me an intelligence roll.
I was just like, don't do this. This is a terrible idea.
Hey, give me an intelligence roll. We'll see, man. As suspected, this is a very bad idea.
Alright.
It's not crazy. Sorry, is by definition, it is crazy. I'm more than happy to go with it. You would have to not only bypass this creature, which you seemed unable to impact and damage, you would probably be passing through its realm or dimension to get to this other thing on the other side with Isabella. But that said, that does seem to be its target on the other side. This is up to you.
Okay, with that information.
You can try. You would
yeah.
need a jump or a dodge to get past the thing, sort of juke it, and then.
You know what my dodge is.
It's contested with its roll though. You know what its fighting is.
No, I think if it's a case of like you'd have to pass back through that time dimensional thing, Monkey's just like, I'm gonna go wait. I remember what that was like, and it really hurt my head. I'm not prepared for this. So yes, I will. There is a moment of I'm really interested in.
You begin the run up.
Maybe I should stay with the people who are currently here and protect Isabella from this side. Maybe.
Makes sense.
So what I am doing, I guess, would then sort of like see to Isabella's and be like, I'm gonna help the one that doesn't make me go mad, and then go and help Uncle Brad get.
Okay. You rush over and get a hand on Isabella and begin to pull her out of the way and back into the hallway. The creature acts next, and it doesn't retreat. You never see it sort of about face, but as it moves backwards, what might be perceived as legs retreating on the floorway, its head almost just seems to sort of like shift through and then just be on the other side as it heads towards that seam. It sort of folds itself inwards, and then as it slips into the gap, it drops down on the other side above Isabella on the bed, Monkey, and that's the last thing you see as the thing sort of zips back closed behind it at the end of the round. Bradley, what do you do? Isabella's on the ground and collapsed, at least for now.
Do I hear this scene in reality being zipped back up again?
You hear like a...
Excellent. Is it gone?
Well, it's stopped attacking this Isabella, but not all of the cousin Isabellas. So,
Well, that's alright, this is the one I care about.
yeah, but I'm pretty sure with an extreme would I know that was a past version of cousin Isabella or a future version?
With an extreme, you know it's Isabella. You just don't know. It's of similar age. So a little bit younger, a little bit older, you don't know exactly. Hang on, no, I take that back, sorry. One more piece of information, you recognize the room partially is of the manor you're currently staying at, Crowwood Hall. So it is recent or it is near future.
Right. Ass.
You think it's gone to attack Isabella in a different time?
So, So, you know how I'm not the monkey from this timeline, right? We had that conversation where I was like, hi, you know,
yes.
I rocked up in a suit, and then your friend Kenneth took it apart because you told him many years ago to do a keg stand or save the universe, and
I remember it well. And you can too if you catch up with the Stream of Chaos on YouTube. Chaosium Inc. on YouTube. The Stream of Chaos playlist. Watch it.
Good man.
Yeah, sorry for the throwback, but this seems important, at least in this one. Well, that thing, whatever it is, I'm pretty sure that's from the place where the time comes from, or doesn't come from. I'm not sure whether it's timeless or full of time. But either way, those things are kind of not good, and yeah, I think it's trying to put cousin Isabella back the way she was, because she's not meant to be here, and that probably means it's gonna try and put me back where I was as well, which, I mean, I did kind of wonder what happened to you two in that specific timeline. Hopefully not bad things, but...
Well, we'll just have to keep our eyes peeled and make sure they don't come back. I don't think you need to worry, Monkey. I happen to have friends in higher places when it comes to entities controlling the time-space continuum, so just stick to your Uncle Bradley and everything will be just fine.
Uncle Brad? Do you think you could ask your friends about what those things are and how we stop them? And by friends, I mean books.
Yes, I'll do that.
As I'm unconscious, I go.
I think, as much as I appreciate what you're saying about possibly having friends in high places, maybe don't ask them for help unless we really need it, because, you know.
I suspect we'll really need it before long.
Yeah, but maybe try your, regular, everyday, leather-covered friends first.
All right. Well, if you don't mind me asking, where did you see the other Isabella that was about to be pounced?
In the manor.
Do you think you could recognize the bedroom?
Yeah, it was,
Well, that's fine. We'll just tell Isabella to sleep elsewhere tonight.
Well, that implies that it's happening tonight and not last night.
She's still here, isn't she? She wasn't, torn apart last night, as far as I know.
No, but I don't think this creature really cares about which timeline it's in. It's kind of...
Well, then I don't care what...
If you went back in time and killed your grandfather, you'd never exist?
I don't care what timeline it's in. I only care about the timeline we're in. That's the one we have control over, so that's the one I intend to focus on.
Okay.
Now, we just need to make sure that Isabella does not sleep in that bedroom as long as we're here at Crowwood Manor.
Okay. Cousin Isabella, are you with us yet?
It's a dog. It's a time dog, and I've got blood on my shirt.
Yeah, it's kind of. I wouldn't worry. It's dry. Yeah. Welcome back to the present.
All right.
Now.
Did you kill it? No, you didn't. We ran. Then it's coming, and I heard the conversation, and right. Pub? I suppose. No. Okay. All right. Well, we found it. It's here. It's something about this building. Something about in here.
Well,
let's
now,
leave
hold on.
and then try and figure out what happened.
I am okay with leaving. I think we should specify, though, if that creature did take an umbrage with you, Isabella, and with the rest of us, then it may or may not be related to the disappearance of Mr. McMillan. That could be a different matter entirely.
Right.
Did you get a headache before it came through, or did you feel fine? Because if there wasn't any headaches, we might be dealing with multiple things.
My head aches, but I might have thumped it when I fell down. Did either of you notice anything strange that happened inside the house?
Oh yeah. The wall became a floor.
Okay. Well, based on that, I think we can make some assumptions. I think we need to back out. We need to. This place isn't safe. Back to the manor, and let's try and figure out what that place is. Maybe it has a history. Maybe we can find out about it. We can talk to the builders again. We can figure out what possibly could have happened.
Mrs. McMillan did say that there had been a history of, like, essentially this place just never really getting off the ground, and that, could just be standard business poor practices, but given everything else we're aware of, maybe it isn't.
And isn't there also rumors of a great bleeding dog? Well, we've seen a great bleeding dog.
Oh yeah, did it have red eyes?
It had almost no perceivable eyes. However, the way that the light kind of glinted off it in strange ways, possibly if seen from afar, I mean, even dog is very hard to, I think it's just, maybe the silhouette and seen from a distance, and just to throw anything at it, you might think dog. And it had glinting elements. Maybe those could be perceived as eyes, but it wasn't like a big black hound.
Can I ask a very odd question?
Never stopped you before?
I tend to do odd things, less ask odd questions. Does this place, this area, feel like it is modern for the time, or does it feel like there is an aspect that has sort of held it back? Like it's remained a quaint countryside town for longer than it should be based on where it is and the surrounding area?
It's pretty rural out here. It's a good hour or so from Dundee, the largest metropolis. It doesn't seem to be any further out of time than other country towns have been. I think Monkey's a very urban person. It seems like, the traveling circus might go through small areas, but you wouldn't stay there for very long. So it might seem a little out of date, but it's pretty typical. And outside, some of the machinery they're using to build this fairly heavy earth-moving equipment is pretty modern. A few points on what you mentioned earlier. The headaches. As you guys take a moment to pause, you can just begin to feel pressure sort of almost building inside your skulls, like a migraine that's coming on, or heavy caffeine withdrawal or something. Bradley, you're knackered, and now that the adrenaline's beginning to fade away, you're sort of slumping against the wall just a bit, feeling your like heavy lidded eyes and just a pounding build in your skull. There is a presence to this place. Additionally, on the whatever that was that you saw, you guys have had a few bump-ins with the mythos at this point. Any one of you could make a Cthulhu mythos roll to try and know some more about them or tie it into the surrounding area.
May I be so bold?
You may.
Yeah. Can we all do it, or only one of us?
You can all do it.
Or can we assist?
I'm going
Actually,
to
can I
not
assist
because
them?
I don't want to think about it.
You can assist.
I will
yeah.
take some assistance. Yeah.
You can assist. You can put your heads together, especially Monkey, because you've actually had a kind of a run-in with some of these. That totally makes sense. All right, Bradley, make a Cthulhu Mythos roll with a bonus dice.
Oh, come on, man!
Can I give you
freaking
one
wizard.
point of luck for an extreme?
You absolutely may, mate. You are smashing these.
That's actually gross.
That is.
I don't think I've failed many of
Is the
these.
word.
Don't say that.
Yet
You're jinxing.
is always the word. Is yet.
No, I'm
Okay.
invincible.
No, this is great. This makes sense as well. After Monkey returned, after the events in the Code, they explained to you their insane story that they had traveled through time, not once, but multiple times, and had effectively altered reality so that they are now in a different timeline. As they moved through, they mentioned seeing something, a presence inside the space between realities and times that watched their passage and seemed to be not malicious, but observant and hunting. Something that would set things to right. You did a little digging on this once you got back, and you found some old tomes that you could leaf through and anything that might set you on the right path. These creatures, as you've heard them referred to, are known as Hounds of Tindalos. Now, they are not directly tied to the entity which you have previously prayed to, but they do inhabit a similar space in that they are directly related to time. They come from a different realm known as Tindalos, and they are creatures of angles, of straight edges, and they are opposed by the curves which we inhabit. Humans and most of Earth is curved creatures. We have, rounded edges, and we exist in comfortable spaces. These creatures and where they come from is all right angles, and they have power through them. They can travel anywhere through time and space pretty much at will. However, their restriction is they can only go through right angles, corners where sides meet. That's why they step through the golf shop in those specific places. Additionally, you are aware that they are fairly formidable. They are able to drain power by striking with their tongue, and that is then reverting the timeline when they attacked Isabella. Additionally, they are entirely immune to mundane weapons. So firearms, hammers, swords, anything of that kind will have zero effect. However, there are stories of ways to enchant weapons, to give them magical, force to back up the mortal swing. And with a little bit of time, you might be able to put something like that together, or at least improvise it to work. Yeah.
Wow. Extreme Mythos rolls are like a cheat code. This is great.
Hey, you guys, also, it totally makes sense that you guys would have researched this.
Yeah.
I do like the fact that theoretically we can make this whole problem go away if we just never go near a corner again. Like,
well, you probably read about that property.
That's why wizards live in round towers.
There's definitely a part of that.
Oh no.
You probably read a journal which you got off some raving lunatic, or at least from them, of a man who claimed to be being hunted by these creatures and went out into the woods, constructed himself a perfectly round cabin, and refused to bring in any sort of, right-angled anything into it, and lived out the rest of his life in this isolated, solitary little thing. But that would be what's required. You could never go into a city, you could never go anywhere where corners are going to meet. It's a pretty extreme life to live.
Wow, okay, well.
I relay all this.
out of very, just pure curiosity, is it, right angle specifically, or is it any angular thing? Like a 45-degree angle, or is it...
It is, specifically, it is 120 degrees or less.
Okay, so you theoretically still can have angles, they just need to be...
Very specific, and that's all theory, No one's really pushing it too hard, because...
But also does tables count?
If they have a corner, yeah. Possibly even where they meet on the floor, where the stool would impact. I mean, it can be fairly extreme.
Wow.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. The creature seems to be gone for now, but listen. This seems too coincidental to just be tied to us. This creature has arrived in a realm where there are rumors of a great hound lurking about, and we're getting headaches in this place, and it attacked us in what seems to be the central hub of all the weirdness here.
Well, also, Mr. Macmillan, or whatever echo of him still exists, did mention time specifically.
Yes.
He said, love you, look, and time. I have it written down.
And ENT, something ending. Listen, I think we need to leave. We can't stay here right now. I feel that I may collapse. We need to go back to the house. We need to do some research, figure out exactly what's happening in there. Maybe we can decode the ENT, as was suggested. And then we return later. Otherwise, we go hell and leather and we head back inside and we try and search the damn place top to toe.
I wonder whether it's worth checking the grounds.
That is where Mr. Macmillan disappeared. He did not disappear in the clubhouse, I believe. He went on a walk through the grounds.
But it was obsessing him, this place. But you're right, we should do a search of the grounds.
I mean...
Perhaps not now. I think we have had quite enough excitement for one day.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm just thinking about right angles, and if this place has flags stuck in holes, they would create right angles.
Huh.
I wonder, should we acquire about camping supplies? Maybe construct some kind of round tent outside, rather than sleep inside the manor again. I'm quite perturbed by all this.
I think, it depends on whether or not a round surface, because theoretically trees could make a 45-degree angle or less. With
they can, but they wouldn't be perfect. Even the hole, the flags in the holes are a little. It seems to be more. While you are right, a lot of these would create them. It's more like not intentional, but constructed angles. Like humans are just tend to do in urban environments. Trees and stuff, less so. Is your instinct? Which could be wrong. Maybe I'm lying. Who knows?
I would like to put inquiries about camping supplies.
Okay. All right.
Well,
So you guys are
let's-
you're planning to leave the clubhouse for now.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I think that's why.
And the golf course.
As you
Also, just I was just gonna say we can ask the staff, you know, if it's a nice night or even if it isn't. We just want to, you know, do some stargazing, which we don't
That's
get to
right.
do because we're from the city and there's a lot of light pollution. So we could just, you
Big
know, lie out
smoke.
and see the stars, and maybe you can be the psychologist to them, Uncle Brad.
Speaking of Bradley, I seem to have developed quite a tremor and a headache. Might I be able to borrow your expertise on matters of the mind?
Yes. How are you feeling? Can I
yes.
give him therapy?
Yeah,
Can
you
I
can.
give him therapy?
You'll need a bit of time. So let's figure out exactly what's happening. So, as the three of you depart the clubhouse, you go to open the door, and you find it jammed somewhat. It takes a bit of jiggling, and eventually you're able to wrench it open. As you step outside, you can feel the pressure already begin to disperse somewhat. And as you step out and onto the golf course, it's like something was building in your mind that you didn't even realize was manifesting. It was getting worse and worse and worse until your head was, you know, beginning to feel like it might pop. And immediately as you step out on the golf course, it's like a breath of fresh air, quite literally. You feel better immediately. Bradley, you blink, you begin to feel more awake. And with the sun up in the sky and birds flitting between the trees, Isabella, you feel more yourself as well, although still a little peaky. The golf course around you, you can see all 18 of the holes, and towards the distance, the little groundskeeper's cabin. The gate you locked behind you, but there's supplies gathered around it, and some heavy machinery for moving earth where they were sort of relaying out the landscape. Let's throw you back to the map of the surrounding area and figure out where y'all are interested in going next. What's the plan?
I wouldn't mind checking out the caretaker's cabin to see if it creates the same pressure issues.
Where's the caretaker's cabin?
So it would be sort of up here somewhere, further along the golf course.
Okay.
So this is the club here. Caretaker's cabin's up there. It's a little walk across the green.
Just to see, you know, to solidify the theory that the problem is the clubhouse and not the grounds or any construction within the grounds itself.
Well, if we want to do that, we have to stick together. I really don't like the idea of one of us wandering out onto the course as Mr. McMillan did.
Okay. You still might not see me though.
Yes, well. All right, let's all go together at the very least. We'll head to the caretaker's cabin right away.
All right. One last look around, but then I would like to make inquiries about camping supplies so that we can sleep under the stars rather than surrounded by right angles.
Okay. You begin to walk off across the golf course, and Isabella, I think as you left, you death gripped like a driving iron or something. So just if you want it, you've got it. You go past each of the holes, and most of these have been constructed. There's sand pits which have been dug and filled. There's a little water obstacle at one point, and even like each of the putting bits near the end of each one have been shorn down and are ready for play. This part has clearly progressed quite significantly. As you walk along, what are each of you doing? Who's craning their eyes along the horizon? Who's nervously looking over their shoulder? Who's got their feet, eyes staring at their feet as they walk along? What's the vibe?
I think I'm kind of enjoying being outside, particularly away from right angles now, kind of passing the club from hand to hand, eyes darting around a bit, but actually feeling quite at home being in a bit of an outdoorsy situation.
Mm-hmm.
I think coming down from the adrenaline high, I'm even more exhausted than I was mere moments ago. So it's all Bradley can do is just keep his eyes open and stare at the ground, watching someone else's footsteps, trying to keep pace. That's all he can manage right now.
Just following in line. Yep. Monkey?
I'd like to watch Uncle Brad and Cousin Isabella.
Okay.
Keep an eye
Creepy.
on the two of them. Because
Make sure they get where they need to
if
go.
anything's coming for him, I'll see it.
Okay. All right. Can I get spot hidden tests from Isabella and Monkey? And Bradley, can you give me a power roll?
Oh, you would, wouldn't you?
I might.
Yeah.
I just might. Hey. Hey. All right.
Would you recommend 3 points of luck for this?
Up to you. It's not a
I'm
magic.
just going to fall asleep as I walk. Is that what
I think
this
that
is?
might be a fumble from me.
I think it
No?
might be.
Oh,
Okay. Monkey, as you're walking along, you keep an eye on the other two, and at one point your eyes drift back towards the clubhouse, and you're certain, for just an instant, you see a silhouette on the first story, standing in the golf shop where you left, just in the glass window. But as you try to make it out further, it's no longer there, and you can't see anything further. Bradley, as you're walking along...
Get a hard success if that changes anything.
No, I don't think anything further. Bradley, as you're walking along, you're trying to sort of blink and keep your eyes open. Your head's swimming a little bit, and you're following in Isabella's footsteps. You can feel pressure sort of building inside your head just a bit, but the sleep's kind of almost dulling it, keeping anything from being too serious. You don't notice anything for the moment, and you can feel the sleep coming over you in waves as you fight it back. Isabella, as you guys near the end of one of the holes, walking across the putting green and towards the golf club itself, you realize there are tiny little stars glinting in the peripheral of your vision, like small, tiny constellations. You shift your head around, and it's not just your eyes. They're around you. Little needles facing towards you that you can just make out inside the sort of like the shadows where the trees dapple in the light. Can you please make a sanity roll for me?
Oh, God.
As you see something's beginning to shift ever so slightly around you.
An extreme success.
That's good. No effect. You blink and push it away, and while you're sure that you saw some apparition, a change in the reality around you, it's not enough to shake you, not yet. And although you're a little touchy, you're okay for now.
this was a mistake. We should have left.
Oh, God.
You get
Isabella's going to get red misted any second now.
Yeah, well,
Isabella takes 1 point. They're going
I go crazy.
madness. You get to the groundskeeper's hut. It's a little one-story squat building with a newly made roof, and you can hear on the inside a sort of a hum of an engine or something.
Huh.
Do we go in?
Yeah, I guess. Do we have the feeling of a headache building slightly?
Bradley's is beginning to build, but it has been for the entire walk. The other two of you feel okay. Much better now that you're outside.
All right. Well, let's head inside and take a look. All right.
Okay. You walk over and unfurl the ring of keys that Cameron gave you. Eventually find the right one, click it open, and swing it ajar. On the inside, there are some maintenance equipment for the lawn, as well as sort of fertilizer and things for the plants around, so that a caretaker or groundskeeper stationed here could keep the whole thing in tip-top shape. There's also a few buckets of golf balls and spare clubs kept to the side, and in the center of the room, there is a moderately sized generator. There are two large sort of cans of like gasoline nearby to top it up, and currently it is spinning along but doesn't appear to be in full swing, if that makes sense. Any of you could make an electrical repair roll if you have the skill. If you don't, it just seems to be on.
I have a whole couple of points in it after I managed to bluff my way into a success during
That'll
the
count.
code. So I'll bend down and take a look.
Just laying the option on the table. You said there's some cans of gasoline. Do we just solve the problem by burning down the clubhouse?
Well, it would be par for the course of what we
Tried
tend to
and
do.
true.
Which is funny.
David, I will give you some luck. I'll give you 9 points of luck.
Okay, all right. The generator does not appear to be at full capacity. It seems to be idling in some way, and you can see lines running from it. It goes back to the clubhouse, it appears, and as you crouch down, you can see there's a large sort of like a switch up next to it, and as you crouch down, you see there's a piece of like tape which has been written on it, and then inked in pen, it says backup. Do not disable.
So wait, this is powering something in the clubhouse.
Yes. And it says backup, do not disable.
I will turn to the others and say, this powers some kind of device inside the clubhouse.
I would suggest not disabling it.
Well, unless this is responsible for the bad stuff, or responsible from keeping the bad stuff from getting very bad.
One way to find out.
I would not. I think that's going to cause more headaches than we already have, and I would quite like to go to bed.
Well, hang on a second. Yes, you're right. We should sleep before we do anything. But looking at this, we have some information now. It's something electrical. This is a backup. It's a backup to something. So there must be a central power somewhere. We should talk to the staff and ask the caretaker what this powers.
A fine idea.
All right. Back to the house.
Back to the house.
To rest and research.
If we arrive back at the house with no incident.
Yeah, sure.
Well, before we leave,
No, don't push it.
I just want to nick a couple of golf balls so that I can beam them at things.
Okay.
Oh, actually, that's a good idea. I'm going to take a couple too.
Okay.
Like, put 4 or 5 of them in my pockets and just be like, because golf, I don't know if you've ever, like, hefted a golf ball, but those things, they're small, but if you beam someone with them, it's gone.
They also make a properly satisfying bonk sound when they hit things, so that alone is worth carrying them for.
As we get back out, I do still have my driving club. I'm not leaving without doing one, and I'm across at the building, so I'm going to turn towards the clubhouse, place one down. I'm going to whack the ball towards it as hard as I can.
It's just damaging property for the sake of damaging property.
I don't know if I'll make it there.
Do you have art, craft, golfing skill?
Funnily enough, I don't.
All right, make a dexterity roll.
Open.
How far away is it? We're at the key.
You're not hitting the house. This is just seeing how good you are at golfing. From this far, it'd be a spectacular drive.
Cool. What do you want? Sleight of hand? Did you say?
It's dexterity.
Oh, it's
with a
dexterity.
penalty dice.
Why would golfing be an art craft?
Got to go somewhere.
Success.
With a penalty dice? Oh, hey.
It's a hard success and regular success.
Yeah, you're pretty good at it. You have a strong drive. Maybe you have played once or twice before. It's a good hit. It flies across the fair. It just going over a sand pit and bouncing onto one of the putting courses, pretty close to the hole. Yeah, strong drive.
Perfect. All right, back to the house. I feel like I did a lot of it. I'm an explorer, obviously. I feel like that one time when we were, we went to some exotic location and hiked a golf club and a ball so we could like golf off the edge of a mountain or something.
Just to whack it. Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
All
there
right.
are golf balls on the moon. Not yet, but there will be.
Oh my god.
Well,
have been
all
messing with
time is simultaneous, according to these dogs. So,
Like, legit, look it up. There are golf balls on the moon.
That's pretty
Really
cool.
are. It's brilliant.
There's debris all through space because we are, as a general rule, bastards. The three of you head back towards the entrance, unlock the chain, and head back towards the road. The golf clubhouse sits behind you, re-shuttered and secured, and you pull the chain back through the fence and secure it. Where to from here? It is like lunchtime, sort of like 11:30, pushing towards midday. It's not that late at all.
Well, I think Uncle Brad needs a rest. But maybe Cousin Isabella and I can go and talk to the groundskeeper about what that generator is generating for.
Yeah, that makes sense. Let's do that.
Okay.
If one of you would put inquiries about camping supplies, otherwise I could do that before I conk out.
Well, ideally, you'd best not conk out until we've got the camping supplies set up, right?
We can probably go have a nap on the lawn. I'm sure they've got
Yeah,
like, a
I
sun
would.
chair or something.
Yeah, I would sleep on the roundest wicker chair I can find
Okay.
out in the lawn amongst the trees.
You're heading back to Crowwood Hall. All right, everyone's going to be walking, and the two of you are going to go to the Queen's Head pub. Is that right? And see if you can find Cameron.
We're looking for the groundskeeper. Will he be at the Queen's Head pub?
Historically, yeah.
All right, perfect.
He's got a little place near there, and he.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, he
seems to
does.
enjoy
Sorry,
their
my bad.
being
I got
there
him
and
confused
drinking.
with someone else.
Okay. Monkey and Isabella, you make your way off, and Bradley, you turn and begin to stride by yourself along the edge of the golf course. Can you please give me a Constitution roll?
Who was that? Sorry. Was it?
That's
that me?
Yes, you. Sorry, I
missed
thought that
that
was you
entirely.
being tired.
Oh,
Yes,
no.
Give me a Constitution roll, please.
That's all right. I will. Oh, just.
Oh, Bradley.
You are.
I'm running on fumes.
Knackered. You're running on fumes, but you do make it back towards the hall after a sort of, 45 minutes of walking. You did doze off, and it's one of those ones where you go, wow, I've just kind of got most of the way here on autopilot. You walk up the hall. You can see Peter Craig, the groundskeeper, towards the side, digging in a bed of roses amidst the thorns, and the butler, Gerald Keating, comes down the stairs as you approach and says, good afternoon, Dr. Fogarty. How have you gotten on?
Yes, quite well. Thank you. I've come over a little sleepy. I can't imagine why. This butler was the one who bring me coffee all night long.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Yeah, it is.
I think I would quite fancy a small kip on the lawn. Perhaps if you have a nice round wicker chair with a fluffy pillow nearby, I would be much obliged.
Certainly, I can procure you a chair or a hammock or something similar.
Oh, yes. If there's a hammock to be strung up, that would be delightful.
Yes. We had one installed for the younger children when they were going to make the grandchildren when they were going to make their way over. I can lead you to it. He takes you through the garden to a little pond where there's a hammock strung up under a couple of trees. All very pleasant. Sort of
That's
afternoon
amazing.
nap. Can I get you a drink, doctor, or a sandwich?
You certainly could, but I'm afraid I won't be present to consume it.
Very well. He leaves you, and you conk out in the hammock, swinging very comfortably in the evening sun. When there's sort of like a lemonade and a sandwich put down next to you for when you do wake, but you have a very comfortable nap.
And a nice round hammock.
Exactly.
Very nice.
Dave, did I hear correctly that the groundskeeper was at the property? So we're going to miss him this week.
You're referring to the foreman, I believe.
No, I think we want to. I want to speak. Groundskeeper. No,
the foreman is the one that would have been.
The groundskeeper's got nothing to do with the golf course.
Yeah, we want the foreman.
Sorry. All right, I thought groundskeeper because we went to
the angry Scottish man.
But we were at the hut that we were in where the backup generator was. That was the groundskeeper's hut, right?
For the golf course, who hasn't been employed there. Peter Craig is the groundskeeper for Crowwood Hall. He does not tend to the golf course anyway.
Okay,
the only person would be the
sorry.
foreman who would have installed it.
Sorry, I thought. Yeah, okay. You see my confusion. All right, thank you. Sorry. Yes.
All right. The other two of you make your way to the Queen's Head pub, and after a stroll, half an hour or so, you get to the establishment. Inside, there are several local farmers and things who have come in for a pint and lunch. And in the corner, in a booth with 2 pints in front of him and a half-consumed pie, is Cameron Nairn. One of the owners nips by to take away one of the empty drinks and drop him down a full one. And Cameron is sort of sitting here sourly musing, staring into his liquor.
This cousin Isabella, he looks very unhappy. is this what he normally looks like?
Oh, well, he looked like this when I saw him the other day. I propose that we continue as before. I'm going to go up to the bar. I'm going to buy 2 pints, and I'm going to come and do exactly the same thing as I did last time.
Okay. All right. You slide into the booth across from him and plonk the pints down. Monkey close behind you. Cameron blinks and looks up towards the two of you, spotting the pints first and then the guests. Nods to you in recognition and then raises one up and says, "Cheers."
Mr. Nan, good to see you again. This is Monkey, my cousin.
Hello.
Just Monkey.
I mean, I guess you could call me Devin if you want, but no one else does.
Hey, Devin, Monkey, it's all same to me. No issue. What can I do for you, Mrs. Watch?
Right. So, we have a couple of questions about some things we found on the course.
Uh-huh.
Inside the groundkeeper's hut, there's a large generator.
Yeah.
Did
What
you
about
set
it?
that up?
No, it was there when we got there.
Was the sticky tape on there when we got there?
I believe so. I mean, the whole thing's a renovation job, so generator was already installed, powers the whole thing. It's been disabled for the moment, so that, you know, while we're working on electrical and such, but...
Well, it hasn't been disabled. It's currently active.
I mean, no, it is. I disabled it when I left.
Okay,
Well, to
hold on a
confirm,
second.
it is currently active.
Yeah, it was
where I
humming.
was, yeah.
Okay, hold on a second. You disabled the generator,
I
so it was making
disabled the generator,
no noise.
turned off the furnace, was pretty much all we did before we downed tools.
Right. Did you write the thing on the sticky tape that says "Do not disable," or was that there when you turned it off?
That's been there since we got there. We figure it's probably just I mean, that's the backup. There's a full generator, like a big kit in the clubhouse itself, a newer one, which we just put in, much more powerful, and we don't, you shouldn't really need the smaller backup anymore. It'll just be in the case of emergencies. Or for if we want to string lights around the course or something for nighttime.
Is the big generator currently running, or was that also disabled?
Again, I think... I mean, I disabled all of it before going.
Wow.
Right. Well,
Who else has access to the golf course?
I mean, I'm the only one with a set of keys currently. Mr. McMillan had his own
Right.
set, but... Well, he's very missing, isn't he?
okay. And you said the other generator is inside the clubhouse. Which room is it in?
It's in the basement.
Okay. Basement. Okay, thank you, Mr. Nan. You've been very helpful. You've been wonderfully helpful.
Right? Not an issue?
I'll hand him a couple of I hand him some American dollars, and I go blast and pull them back and pull out some I don't know what the currency.
He kind of like waves it away. He looks just kind of more or less bemused.
Pounds.
No issue. Just so I'm sorry. You don't look well, Ms. Watch.
Yes. So I'm quite.
Is that
it's the
blood on your
air.
shirt?
I took a spill in a
hers,
puddle
really.
of paint. Thank you, Mr. Nan. I'll be on my way.
He blinks at you, looking fairly confused as the two of you step up and begin to make your leave. Looks like he might have a few more questions and just clarification he wants to make, but you have a swift exit, and he shakes his head and resigns himself to his pint, returning to have another drink.
As soon as we get outside, I'll spin around to Monkey. I'll say, basement. Ent. E-N-T.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so look in the basement. Maybe we're running out of time or something like that?
Well, or something, anything. I'm not sure exactly. It doesn't matter. Oh, look, well, that does, but I'm sorry, Monkey. I'm rather. It's been a long day, and well, I'm sure you know how it feels. You're out of time as well.
I think we're all running out of time, but I think that's just the nature of being human. And
Sure,
alive.
of course. But you and I, we're not just running out of time in the more ethereal sense. We're not from here, right?
Yeah.
I think about that a lot. I think about what you and Bradley are doing in the other timeline. I think about,
Did Uncle Brad explain what happened to you in this timeline?
I figured most of it out myself, actually, but yes, I wonder about it a lot. Do you ever, well, you left behind everyone you know, really, didn't you, as well?
I mean, yeah, but everyone I knew is sort of here. Well, except when the guy, the maitre, whatever the theatrical equivalent of a maitre d' would be, I don't know, person who runs front of house, said that my circus had been disbanded for years. That was weird, because I don't remember that. It was going when I left, but apparently not here, so that was weird. But for the most part, it seems to actually be kind of mostly the same, if not maybe a little more cheerful than it was.
Well,
The timeline I left was it got pretty dark.
I just wonder how many of these strange parallel worlds they are, and how many of them people like us move through, leaving ruin in their wake.
Well, so there's this concept called the trouser leg of time, which I think I talked to a different version of you about, but not this version of you. And Monkey will, as we
Walk
head
back, yeah.
out, will just start rabbiting about the weird concepts of time that they seem to have. As a distraction, but also just hey, I'm gonna share something that I think is cool, because neurodivergencies.
That's awesome. The two of you begin to make the walk back to Crowwood Hall. Monkey...
I assume that's where we're going, and we're not going back to the clubhouse to look in the basement immediately.
No, let's get Bradley.
Alright. You make your way back towards Crowwood Hall, Monkey cheerfully nattering. And Isabella, you can't help but pick at the cloth in the center of your chest, where your blue blouse meets a white one just seamlessly, except this one is spattered with dried blood. And as you walk past the golf club, looking out over the course, just absent-mindedly, you slip a finger between the buttons and feel underneath it cold, clammy, dead flesh. And you retract it with a start. When you make it back to the hall, the butler escorts you around the corner to Bradley, who has a hat down low over the face, a glass of lemonade going warm to his side, and some sandwiches which a few flies are buzzing around. Gerald excuses the mess, retrieves the plate and drinks, and goes back to get refreshments for you. The two of you can pull up a couple of chairs, and when Bradley, you wake, feeling much refreshed, the three of you are sitting out next to a little pond with a couple of ducks swimming about inside it, and can have a private and quiet conversation.
As we're sitting down, staring at Bradley before he wakes, I will say to Monkey, look at him, he's so peaceful. With the hat and the lemonade, you almost wouldn't be able to tell that he is Scotland's most powerful warlock.
You're probably
That
right
we
about
know
that.
all.
Monkey is going to be skipping stones across the pond, just happily, being yeah, I was kind of really glad that he didn't die in the explosion, because I was pretty convinced that was gonna happen.
Let's wake him up.
No, let him rest.
Let's put his hand in a glass of warm water. I poke Bradley.
Yes.
Hey, Uncle Brad.
Bradley, we've got news.
Oh, good.
sleep well, dream of flowers and frolicking in the woods and.
No large dogs.
Oh, that's very good then. Listen, we went down to speak to the foreman, Mr. Nan, down at the pub. He said that he turned off the generator. Not only did he turn off that generator, but he turned on the central one.
No, he turned
off the central generator, which is in the basement, ENT, of the house.
Wait, who? Who turned it off?
Okay, Mr. Nan, the foreman of the construction project,
Right.
turned that generator and another newer one, which is in the basement of the clubhouse, off.
Oh, sorry, I may have, to clarify, he turned off the main generator. The backup, the one in the groundskeeper wasn't being used. It was off.
Ah,
So someone's turned it on at some point.
someone has turned it on. And maybe the one in the central area is also on. I'm not sure. But something is being powered in that place that, the foreman doesn't know about. And it is, look, I think it's very possible that, and you did you tell us that you saw a silhouette inside the building, Monkey?
Maybe. Like, if you think it is useful to know, then Monkey probably dropped it nattering on the way back.
All right, perfect. We were chatting about
keeping it to myself.
Chatting about silhouettes. Great. So, given that we've seen silhouettes there, we've got the ENT clue. I think that it must be. I think that we're going to have to head back, and I am a little concerned about who would have been doing this, because I think what our approach should be. We should get some camping equipment that we can move. Actually, this is fine. We can just go here tonight, right?
Yes, if there are more hammocks about, it probably gets a bit cold overnight in Scotland.
It'd be a bit brisk and not super comfortable, but you can just ask. They probably have some kits
bring out
somewhere.
some blankets. Perfect. So we'll deal with that. Then I think we need to go through the staff one by one, and we need to try and figure out which of them have electrical expertise.
Well, almost certainly the groundskeeper would. I mean, and or the chauffeur.
Exactly.
If you
Figure out
make
which of
something
them would be able to work with generators, or I suppose maybe it's not that difficult. The generator itself wouldn't be difficult to manipulate, but whatever it's powering, I presume there has to be some kind of.
Did we not re-engage the foreman himself? He probably know most about the happenings on the course.
Well, he seemed to say that it was for powering the construction and lights across the course if they want to run it at nighttime. Also, I think I'm wearing that fellow a little bit thin.
Yes, that does sound like you. All right.
Oh, Bradley.
You do have
Shut
a way
up.
with losing husbands.
I will strike you, Bradley.
One more word, wizard. One more word.
Deflect arm.
He's unstoppable. Get the shit.
Not if I beat him with a golf ball first.
All right. So, look. Let's. I suppose the question is how thoroughly we want to preemptively research this. Do we want to go through and speak to all the staff individually, or do we want to try and get a better view of what's happening in the clubhouse? We could just race in downstairs, get to the basement, try and figure out what it's powering, and then leave. The other thing is, do we want to switch off one of the generators? I mean, my instinct says that whatever that thing is powering is something to do with why things are bad. So we either turn it off and end the world, so we should keep the generators fueled, or we turn it off and everything gets fixed.
I would be inclined to investigate what it's powering before switching it off.
Right, I think that's probably a good idea. Do we want to investigate the people who might be powering it before we investigate the device itself?
Yes, that makes sense, or at the very least, get an informed opinion about what exactly it's doing.
Right.
Burning
Right.
the whole thing down is still an option.
It is always an option.
It's worked really well for us in the past. And this just seems like another thing that maybe if you bury it far enough down, it'll just kind of go away. Although I suppose that doesn't really help getting Mr. Macmillan's echo back.
Let's try and figure out everybody in the house who might have electrical expertise, and then if we can't find that, we'll head back to the clubhouse.
Oh, okay. Uncle Brad? I would have your lie detector senses on, if you know what I mean.
Oh, they're never off.
Okay.
All right.
Right.
What's playing, gang?
Also very excited that Isabel heard Monkey give a completely different name. It's just like, yeah, cool.
Yeah, no, I assumed I would have heard it before.
You actually probably would.
as a
like,
family
it's
member.
one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, that's what.
Yeah,
you were. That's
I
right.
definitely noticed it, but I figured that Isabella knew and therefore wouldn't have made a deal about it. But no, that was very cool. Very, what a great
Now we know.
tidbit to say for the potentially last episode.
Now our fans flock to the wiki to edit it.
Yeah,
Do we have a
so
wiki?
Everyone, I'm
don't think we
assuming
do.
making
What?
sure that, because I think it's a patriarchal connection between Uncle Brad and Devon. It would be Devon Fogarty.
There you go. Very cool. Devin
Delightful.
Update the overlay.
No, absolutely not. Monkey is monkey.
We got to keep confusing those new viewers,
Yeah,
making them think monkey is an
he's a
actual
literal
monkey.
monkey.
I should change it to another animal. That might help.
Oh, what other
Hey.
animal would monkey be? Like a
Gorilla.
meerkat?
Meerkat works. Magpie.
Meerkat. Magpie's not bad.
Yeah.
Meerkat's
Shiny.
not a great nickname. Hey, meerkat.
I'm the meerkat. It
What are you
worked.
gonna do?
I was gonna
Lima?
make.
Lima.
I can't believe I didn't realize this, but we were teasing all of Orson Vaughn's like sidekicks of being called
Oh,
like
shit.
Bull and stuff. Monkey is called Monkey.
That-
Orson Vaughan is just the Zootopia of crime.
That
Yeah,
makes sense.
I mean, it's got a
doesn't
theme.
it? That's pretty, yeah.
Nothing wrong with
Collects
having a theme.
animals.
I mean, I feel like monkey is 100% like a nickname they were given as a kid,
Yeah.
but just kept using it as an
Yeah.
as an adult.
Get
Maybe
down,
maybe
you little
you
monkey.
Inspired all the others to take animal names.
I like to think that it was one. It was. They all had the same story. Bull goes, "Oh yeah, everyone called me Bull when I was 5." Then barrel him over.
You're in.
Like
You're
the-
out. You're in.
Just like the completely off topic, but the opening for Borderlands 1 where they're just like, and Brick as himself. And you're like, yeah.
All right. What's the plan, gang? You
Oh, I
some
don't know.
Q&A?
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna go and I'm going to get hammocks and prepare us. And then I suggest that the two of you go through and basically just go to each person and say, have you studied like electrical engineering, basically? And
Alright.
if they go, yes, I have, it's my passion, then
Bring them along.
take them aside. But and if they say no, but they're lying, do the same.
Okay.
Um,
All right.
Have anything electrical that we could just be like, hey, would you be able to help fix this?
I think we can just be honest with them at this stage. We've got
Yeah.
Brad, the human lie detector / wizard, with us, so he's...
Okay.
He'll be fine.
All right, Isabella, can you give me a natural world check? And this is going to be
Oh.
setting up your equipment and everything.
Oh,
And,
yes, I can. David.
take a bonus
survival?
dice. Or survival. Actually, survival does suit better. I hope that
Camping
didn't
skills
discourage you.
probably come under survival.
Where's my survival skill? I always lose this one. Here we go. My natural world is 2 better.
Roll. It's definitely survival. You're right.
Oh, come off
Ooh,
it.
Take a
that's not a fumble.
bonus dice. Take a bonus dice.
Actually, that's a fail.
It's a
I'll
fail.
give you 4 points of luck.
4 points.
That is my best skill,
Push it with
and
a
I failed
bonus.
it.
Like,
Or you could push
gonna
it.
get it.
It's 4 points of luck.
You guys are going to freeze to death. All right. Isabella, you go and ask the butler who, happily procures some old, dusty camping equipment that was shipped over and has yet to be unpacked. You get a tent out of it, a couple of tarps and things, enough to set yourselves up out in the garden and have a little camping session. As you do, he will ask, just so I can assist you as best as I can. your accommodations aren't suitable, Miss Watch?
No,
You
no,
don't
they're,
find
they're
them comfortable?
absolutely wonderful. We love the accommodation, and it's brilliant. In fact, it's because we're here that we so rarely get the chance to be out in the country. And I'm going to spin some bullshit about how we just would love to see the stars, and there's no other reason than that. And then, of course, also you see, we believe that we believe in getting inside the psychology of the people that we're looking for. This is why we have one of the world's foremost alienist psychologists here with us. And part of that is to put ourselves in the mind of Mr. Macmillan. We need to develop a true passion and a true love for this place. And what better way to do that than to sleep outside, to enjoy it, and then when we wake the next morning, we will be in his mindset and we'll be able to walk directly to where he is.
Very good.
just like trees.
He didn't like camping at all, but
No, but
not one for the outdoors.
it's an evolutionary process, you see. We're not camping here because he liked camping. He liked the golf club.
Right. Would you like to camp out on the golf course?
Well, honestly, either would work, but we thought that you'd give us weird looks if we asked to go to the golf club. So if you're being accommodating,
Well, as I understand, that's why you've been brought here, is to find the missing Master Macmillan.
of course, but some people tend to see our ways as a bit unorthodox, you know.
Well,
Listen,
as long
it's
as you get
it's
results.
perfectly normal, and I'm going to start listing all the other times that we've done this and it's worked perfectly. Lying through my teeth.
Make a fast talk roll for me, please, to put the butler at ease.
Sure. Hard success.
That's pretty good. Yeah, he produces all the equipment you need, and you are more than welcome to camp here in the spooky forest up above, on the golf club, wherever you want to go. And he now sees this as like a legitimate thing and also not a dig at them. And he excuses himself. He's actually going to talk to Crystal in a bit just to kind of update her on what's going on. And he seems to be, they're really taking it seriously, which is good. They're not just fucking about and having a camping session for no reason. So that's good.
All right, that is quite important. And I will. Yeah, we're on it.
Monkey and Bradley, what's your strategy? Is it corner people one at a time until you find someone with electrical skill?
The butler seems to be, I was going to say friendly, but at least, yeah, obliging to me so far. I'd probably start with him and ask who he reckons would be a good choice for taking a look at some machinery in the golf course. What was the? Oh no, I was going to ask you what his name was, and I remembered I have notes because I'm a good role player. I can tell you the butler's name was Keating.
Good man. Where I've shared all the art in the Roll20 has names attached to them as well. So
that's true.
That's pretty bloody flash.
Gordon Kilburn, who's the valet, Peter Craig, who's the groundskeeper, Gerald Keating, who is the butler, Audrey Grant, who is the caretaker, Teresa and Katie, who are the maids, and Cameron Nan, who is the groundskeeper.
Correctamundo.
So Teresa has red hair and Katie has brown hair.
Okay, all right.
Teresa is, I think she was the older.
Teresa's the older one and the one that you got on with a bit better. All right.
Well,
Bradley?
I can see I don't need to show off my note-taking skills because Art has me beat.
Not always.
That's all right.
Sometimes I'm really good with notes, and sometimes my note is like, fuck. That's it for the session.
All right. So Bradley, sort of while he's retrieving some of the supplies for Isabella, you corner Gerald, pulling things out from the basement to get all the tents and things that you need. Is Dr. Fogarty? How can I help you?
You've been much helpful in our stay so far, and I'd just like to say I really appreciate it. I try to tip him, and it's awkward.
I don't need a tip, sir. It's my
yes,
employment.
of
As
course,
I said,
yes.
we are compensated fairly.
I apologize. Old habits and all that.
I appreciate the gesture.
I wonder if you could help us with a little more advice. Where we were looking into some machinery out in the golf course, just in case it's linked to Mr. McMillan's disappearance, an electric generator, as it were, and none of us are such mechanically inclined. I wonder if you could tell us which members of the staff here, or perhaps of the staff at the golf course, might be able to advise us on electrical generators and machinery and all of that sort of nonsense.
Well, in the golf course, you'd be better off speaking to the foreman. I understand he brought in a few electricians to do the wiring and everything.
That makes sense. He has somewhat walked off the job, though, as it were, and maybe less inclined to help us out without offering employment from Mr. McMillan himself.
I see. If you'd like me to have a stern word with him, or ask Lady Macmillan to... He should be assisting you.
Well, that's good to know. That's certainly maybe an avenue to investigate. And in the meantime, would there be any staff at the house able to assist us in this manner?
Well, I'm afraid I lack the expertise myself. I think Mr. Craig is passingly familiar. He's done some repair work around the house in the past. That's the groundskeeper. And he's done some repairs on the automobiles. So I think he knows his way around a wire or two.
Does Mr. Kilburn not know anything about vehicular repair?
No, not in particular. He can drive the thing, but if it gets bogged, I think Mr. Craig will need to assist.
Well, then it sounds like we should go and have a chat to Mr. Craig, Uncle Brad.
Most helpful. Thank you very much, Gerald.
Just before you do, Mr. Craig is an ornery sort. I'd hate to have you put off and think poorly of us because he's a bit bristly. If it helps, I could speak to him and ask him to assist you, or...
Oh, yes, by all means. If that would grease the wheel, so to speak, that would be most agreeable.
Certainly. And what is it that you need assistance with?
Well, there's an electric generator or two rigged up in the golf course, and we were wondering if we could get some insight into it, how it works, and what the purpose may be.
Right. Yes, very good. Well, I'll have a word with him, and I'll why don't I touch base with you in just a moment? He scurries away, short little steps, and disappears around the corner to go and locate the groundskeeper. While he's talking, do either of you want to do anything further? Isabella's in the backyard hammering pegs into the ground.
Pistons up and above. It's loose.
Building a trench in case the heavy rainfall.
Look at the weather there. We've got a storm rolling in.
Get it.
I feel like Cousin Isabella is just having the best time, and I do not want to disturb that at all. I would like to follow the butler and go on and listen, like at least get a vibe of the conversation between the butler and Mr.
A bit sneakily.
Craig.
Alright, so you'll give me a stealth roll. Bradley, what would you like to do?
Wait politely.
Very good.
Be back in a minute, Uncle Brad.
Oh, don't get in trouble.
It's me.
When
When have
Yeah.
I ever gotten in trouble?
Don't get in trouble.
Alright, Bradley, you park yourself on the porch steps and watch Isabella hammering something into a tree. It seems important, so she seems to imply that it is. Monkey, you sneak around the back, not like hiding in shadows, but just walking quietly and staying out of sight. You see Keating around the corner and stride towards Craig, who's currently like on his knees with a trowel in some bushes. Before Keating gets up to him, he stops a good 4 feet back. You see him bounce on the balls of his feet a couple of times, kind of hyping himself up, and then he walks forward purposefully, and he goes, "Craig, I need a word." Peter Craig ignores him for a good beat or so, and he goes, Peter, when you have a moment." Craig turns around, thick, bushy eyebrows, low, and you can see the glint of eyes. He glowers up at Gerald and goes, "What?" The guests have need your assistance looking into a generator on the golf course. He goes, "That's not my job." Craig, come on now, we're here to assist the investigation, and we all want Arthur back as We all want Arthur back. He goes, it's not my job. I don't have to do anything for them. Craig, I will get Crystal if necessary. Mrs. McMillan has been very clear. We're to assist them however we need. There's a bit of back and forth, and then eventually Craig stands up. He towers over this butler, a good foot above and 3 times as wide. Holding the little trowel in at hand, it's diminished to a little trin point, and he flicks it down to the ground where it sticks in the dirt, takes a step forward, and then goes, fine. As he walks towards you, Monkey, doesn't see you, you duck around the corner, but not before you see Keating visibly deflate as like the stress and mild terror leaves his body, and then he picks himself back up again and goes striding after to intercept Craig and the 3 of you. So you're all gathered at the front. Craig stands before you.
I've rejoined at this point.
Yeah. Craig stands before you and says, what do you need my help with?
Oh, well.
After you, please, Bradley.
We were just hoping to look into an electric generator or 2 that are running on the golf course to figure out what it's powering. We're not mechanically inclined ourselves, so we'd appreciate an expert insight. And, Gerald tells us that you're the best man for the job. We'd hate to stumble through it and make a mess of things and make more work for someone else. We're certainly not in the business of being a nuisance. I'm trying to persuade him.
Make a persuasion roll.
This man will take a bullet for us.
You kind of hit the right words for him, and as part of that, I won't ask you to roll psychology because you're pretty across it. You get the read. This man is the kind of bloke who he just wants to do the job and get it done. He's not here to make friends. He doesn't strike you as cruel or anything. He's just not interested in socializing, and where the other staff might, get together, have drinks afterwards, whatever, he goes home to his wife and kids. He's happy to do this. He doesn't want to do anything too late, and if you want to do it today, he'd rather leave now, or otherwise he can find some time tomorrow in the morning.
I think we were thinking about setting up in the morning once we're all well rested.
Well, we can go and just take a look at the generator now, though. We don't have to go into the clubhouse as well.
No, let's do it tomorrow.
No, okay, all right, tomorrow.
Yes, I think some of us need to rest our weary heads.
Very well. Then let's set up a time then tomorrow.
Fine. First thing in the morning?
Sure.
Delightful. Thank you very much. We really appreciate your help in this.
He grunts and turns back to go and get his to return to his work.
Fantastic. That's an enormous sack of meat we can use to put between us and whatever terrible things are waiting for us in the basement.
Don't.
I am well pleased.
Do not kill the NPCs. They are special.
Kill them a little.
No innocents be murdered.
I'm thinking of like that. Someone should make a skit of like an NPC conservation movement, where it's like they're running out of them and people use them as disposable.
The preservation of non-player lives or something.
If they have 2 names, they're not a red shirt.
They have a name at all, they're lucky. It's sort of, mid-afternoon, afternoon tea time. Is there anything else you'd like to do today, or is the intent to retire early and get a good night's rest?
I would like, at some point, have a good chat to Isabella and see if I can tighten some screws in her brain.
Okay. In that case, then, Monkey, what are you doing in the afternoon? Chucking the ball at the wall is a valid...
I want to go and speak to Crystal McMillan.
Okay. All right. So... let's do that first then. So you head back inside and up the stairs. You see Audrey is just leaving Mrs. McMillan's room with a half-eaten tray of food that she's taking back down to the kitchen. She gives you a curt nod and then swirls past you and down the stairs. And when you get to the door, it is partially ajar. And unless you're trying to sneak in, Crystal goes, "Yes, dear?
I'll knock.
Come in."
Thank you. Is this a bad time?
No, not at all. I have very little on. She's perched up in bed with a little pair of reading glasses on the tip of her nose and some sort of paperback, just novel, half half red, on her knees.
Is it good?
It's really quite wonderful, actually. It is titillating.
Wait, it's 1920s. Is it a Christie?
So it is.
I'm sorry to bother you, but I was wondering, have you had any odd dreams lately?
Odd dreams? What do you mean?
Just, when things are troubling, which I imagine a missing member of the family often can be, the mind tends to bring things up. At least that's what my Uncle Brad tells me. He's a psychologist. But the mind tends to bring things up that would maybe sometimes be like noticed but only subconsciously, and that thing tends to happen in dreams. And sometimes that information can be helpful to uncovering where someone went. So I just thought I'd ask if you had had any strange dreams.
I'm curious. Mind is a wonderful thing. Well, let me think. And she unfolds. She takes the glasses and folds them and holds them everything. And she kind of looks up in the stairs. She goes, I have been sleeping rather poorly of late, and I've woken up several times thinking of my husband. But I don't think there's anything too curious about that, is there? I mean, as you said, it plays on the mind.
Again, subconscious things. Do these dreams, like, does he say anything? Does he do anything? Is there anything that, comes to the fore when you think about him in those moments? Or is it very much just, he's there?
Oh dear, I mean, the usual. It's a dream of a happy return. He visits me late at night, he says he loves me, he's coming home just as soon as he can, that sort of thing. As she does that, you can see there's a tremor in one of her hands, and she lets out just a tiny, slightly suppressed gasp, and then clenches the glasses a little too tightly. Could you give me a psychology roll?
No, but I can try.
Here we go. Fingers crossed.
Nah. Oh, so close.
47 points of luck.
She pinches her hand and then reaches across to kind of distract herself and picks up the picture of her husband on the table and looks at it, and she says, nothing more though, just dreams, flights of fancy. I spoke to Gerald earlier. He said you're moving along quite well. Any progress? Any word of any theories?
Not as of yet, but we're making progress on ruling things out.
I see.
Which
That's
is
good.
Mainly part of it. Also, if it's not too rude, I'm gonna pull out from one of my pockets this like chain and pendant, and the pendant's like a little cage made of probably slightly tarnished silver, with like whatever the American equivalent of a gum nut is inside it, that's been sort of
acorn?
Like painted.
Acorn,
an
yeah,
acorn,
maybe.
small one that's been like painted with silver paint that's rubbed off, but the actual thing itself is quite it's tarnished, but it is silver. And I'll sort of go put it on the edge of the bed or on the table, wherever is not weird, and go, sometimes when people disappear or leave us, it's nice to hold on to memories. This was my mother's. I hope it makes you feel better. And then I'll just leave.
As you put it down, you can see her go like, "Oh, dearie." She visibly wells up with tears as she picks it up and lets it sort of like fold down into her palm and peers at it. You let yourself back out, and the last thing you hear is her quietly crying. But when you'd met her previously and talked to her, she seemed to be a bit, not in denial, but just kind of not fully accepting the risk that her husband, like, she kind of just assumed that he would. For good or ill, she seems to be beginning to accept the severity of the situation and the reality that her husband may not return. As you go out onto the landing, Audrey's standing on the floor below. He is like a sob and glares at you and then begins to stride up the stairways before the stage. She takes a moment to catch her breath so she doesn't say something that's going to get her in trouble. Then she goes, "How are you, monkey? You're quite well."
I'm doing my best to not give someone false hope that's going to hurt them in the long run.
Good. Well, maybe you'll focus on finding the missing Mr. Macmillan, and I'll focus on caring for Mrs. Macmillan in the meantime.
I can see that you care very much for Mrs. Macmillan, and I think you're doing an admirable job. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Can you give me a charm roll?
No.
Go for charm. Just regardless.
Of course not. Where is there it is. Nope.
Oh.
Not a fumble, but
No, I agree. You leave having said, basically, she's got no ammunition on you, but she just, indignant rage. You head back downstairs, and she just, and goes and finds a pillow to
I'll
relocate.
slide down the banisters.
Solemnly walk towards the banister and drift away.
Hell yeah.
It's like doing a solemn kickflip.
Yeah, I think like Monkey's approach is just like, look, we're gonna do our best, but like, if this woman is not prepared for the eventuality that her husband's not gonna come back, it is gonna hurt a lot more.
That makes sense. All right. Bradley and Isabella, what's the setup?
Well, how do we do this, Bradley? What do I show you my ear and you look inside till you see my brain?
No, you just tell me how you're feeling.
Scotland's nice. I like the outdoors.
I rather meant about what happened in the clubhouse. I'd like to know what exactly you remember of the incident.
Well, I was standing, looking at the clubs, keen golfer as I am, and then I saw it coming out and collapsed. Simply, I'm put.
Can you tell me what the creature looked like?
I didn't see too much of it. I suppose it was a dog shimmering. Dog's the best way to describe it. Really, it was something else. It had no face, no features, and bits hanging off it. I
see.
I felt like I'd seen it before.
Well, the important thing to remember is there is a chance you'll see it again. I mean, this world we found ourselves in, it's not a gentle one. And it's one that is going to come after us again. But here's the thing about dogs, Isabella. They're man's best friend. And they're man's servants. We have tamed the dogs.
Well,
we have domesticated them. We have made them our friends and our companions. And I think this dog is no different. And that helps her feel much better.
I don't think this dog was my friend, Bradley. I think
have to be our friend.
I think
Just
it
have
knew
to
I
tame
died,
it.
and I think it was there to make things right.
Well, right is a matter of opinion. As it happens, I was the one who decided whether you lived or died. And I think It was the right decision.
I appreciate that. I do. Yes.
So we're gonna tell that dog what's what.
Okay.
And we're gonna assert dominance. We are the alphas here.
Certainly. Yes, let's not screw the pooch on it.
All right.
Do I need a
Jackson.
psychoanalysis roll to
Yes,
treat
please.
him? Treat her, rather?
I like that Tully looked over from the background for a second while we were talking about dogs.
What the fuck? And we. No, that's a charm check.
Did you just?
All right.
Did you just dox Dave's dog?
Oh, I did. Oh, no.
Oh no.
Bro.
Tully fan club incoming.
He is the
All right.
bestest of boys, though.
Regular success.
A success. So, Isabella, you may restore a D3 of sanity.
What? A
Excellent.
D3? Ripped off.
And can you please make a sanity check? Okay.
Can I
are
give you luck?
I guess you can, yeah.
It's not a sanity roll, it's a check using
No, I
sanity.
agree,
so it
I
might
agree,
be.
I agree.
Yeah,
So-
I'll give you 10 points of luck.
Alright, with that, you are no longer indefinitely insane. You cannot reattempt this until a month has passed of pretty consistent therapy, but Dr. Fogarty's pretty good. And I think just traveling with him is a therapy. So you are no longer indefinitely. You can restore a D3. Isabella, how are you bearing up? This is a success,
I think that-
but you have a hole in your chest, which is from another you, which is dead. Additionally, if what Bradley told you is correct, these things are going to pursue you through space, time, and whatever else gets in their way until this is reverted and the timeline is preserved.
I think Isabella was feeling pretty shaken, pretty bad. You know, she has always been a little resistant to the mythos and wary of being able to find ways to use it as such. So she's a little scared of what Bradley and Monkey have done, leaping through time and all that kind of stuff. And she was looking for some kind of way to feel better about everything. Will she stop having these dreams? Or what will she find an answer to these existential questions? And now that hasn't really eventuated, and this new threat has come. But weirdly, I think it's Bradley pointing out the sort of you've got to face this dog, you've got to attack it, that has triggered something in her. And I think that it's the same kind of ultimate triggering that happens when she's on a mountainside fighting against the elements, or weaving her way through a desert or a blizzard or whatever, where she's just clicked into a survival mode now. And it's suddenly the problem's very, very simple. And it's just, if these dogs are coming, then I leap into explorer mode, and it's actually fine. And I think she's now running through in her head all the ways that she can get back out into the wildest, least angled areas of the world. And do what that old wizard did. She's an explorer, which means she's uniquely suited to living out the rest of her days where she was. And for reference, you regain sanity spending time in your significant location, right? My significant location is the wilds. So
Hell
there you go.
yes.
Nailed it.
That actually, you are, like you said, best suited. I love that. So you are less, you don't feel like what you being brought here was wrong. It's more like this is just I'm here, I'm gonna deal with this, we'll see.
No, it's yeah, there's no such thing as wrong. There's just survival instincts now.
That rules.
There you go. I've shared my meaningful location.
Awesome. All right, by the time you finish your little session, night's beginning to fall. You've set up your tents under the stars. The maids come out at one point and bring blankets and pillows and things, and your dinner's brought outside so that you can relax there and get in the mindset of Arthur Macmillan. Knowing your intent, the butler also retrieves some other things, like a luggage trunk filled with some clothing and just bits and bobs and things, so you can really get into the headspace. Apart from that, you can take
Glass
your
of his
rest.
favorite whiskey.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just to help. Is there anything more you guys would like to do tonight before you fall asleep and dream of tomorrow?
Yeah. I had a talk to Mrs. McMillan, Uncle Brad, and I asked her about dreams because the echo was talking to her, and I was wondering if she remembered anything else that he might have said while she was asleep. There was something a little off about her. I don't know exactly what it was. It could have just been coming to the realization that maybe her husband might not come back. She seemed a little down.
Well, that's understandable.
Also, the housekeeper probably hates me now, but I don't think she liked me to begin with, so, but yeah, just on the off chance, if we do speak to Mrs. McMillan again, might be... I didn't know what was wrong, but you're much better at reading people than I am, so...
That's all right. I'm sure she won't hinder us in any way.
No, I don't think so, but maybe she could use an ear after this is over. If for whatever reason Mr. McMillan is in a different time, space, dimension, and we can't get him back. Although she also might, want us to leave as quickly as possible if we fail, so...
Cross that bridge when we come to it, I think.
Okay, well, good night. And Monkey will probably climb up the nearest tree and go to sleep with a blanket.
Curl up, nice and comfortable. No angles
As
inside.
you start scaling up a bit, use the pittons, damn it. The survival ropes all down the side.
Cousin Isabella, I'm an acrobat.
Ah, yes, yeah, a good one.
It's true.
Humbug. All right. Monkey curls up in one of the trees to fall asleep, and Bradley and Isabella rest in the tent, sort of sleeping bags and doonas and things all scattered about. Bradley falls asleep, Monkey falls asleep, but Isabella lies staring up at the ceiling for just a little bit longer. This area is safe, according to Bradley's theories at least. You're a little paranoid, but you look at all the angles and they seem flat enough, or curved, and you're right here. Eventually, your eyes close and you rest. But elsewhere in your story, things are moving. The Hound emerges 2 nights ago and looks over, or only 1 night ago rather, and looks over you in your bed in the Crowwood Hall. You're sleeping soundly, the candle on your bedside flickering in the light. The thing steps, padding over you, and stares down at your face before another slice in the wall tears open and mist begins to drift out. It leaps to the floor silently and shifts through and is standing in a familiar location. The home that you grew up in on your 11th birthday. Your friends are all gathered around and there's a little cake for everyone to celebrate. Kids are playing games. There's balloons tied near the front door so they know there's a party going on. Kids are hopped up on sugar. Parents are having a beer. It's a good time. The Hound watches you from a distance as you play tag with your friends, and then leaps towards your basement and darts through another hole. This time it emerges at your wedding. The husband you cared for the most. You can see you standing at the altar, happy. Friends, fellow explorers, Arthur Cornthwaite maybe, are in attendance. And your husband, who you haven't seen in so long, puts the ring on your finger and kisses you. You will have a happily ever after. The Hound retreats behind the tables and approaches another sliver, which begins to open. But this time it's not looking at Isabella on the other side. The Hound has been drawn back, like a moth to the flame, And as it steps through, it's looking at the body of Arthur Macmillan slumped over some strange esoteric device, unmoving in a cold, black basement. And we're going to have to pick that up next time for our last session of the 19th hole. Hot diggity dog.
Right.
Awesome.
Cool beans, guys.
We lived.
For now.
Forever.
All right. Well, cheers, guys, for playing. Thank y'all for watching. I think we're going to do one more session, and then... But who knows? Maybe there'll be two. You can't rush these things.
And there's backstory to get out. Damn
That's
it.
exactly it. All right, so we will be back next week at the same time, so you can join us then. In the meantime, this will go up on the YouTube, so you can check that out there. Additionally, as mentioned at the beginning of the scenario, this scenario and all the other mansions of madness are now available on Roll20. There'll be links hither, thither, and everywhere else, so check it out. Play some scenarios, and if you want to look for more inspiration, check out the ones that we've done earlier. Learn from our mistakes. Follow these 3 fool's disasters. Apply them to other situations. It's all good stuff. So we'll be back next week. Cheers, guys. Have a good one.
Thank you, Dave.